all my friends, it's Kiona the Craft Therapist, and today we're going to do a 6x6 best friends card. So we're here in Design Space right now, and I am going to show you guys. We're going to bring in 2 squares right now, and I'm going to size them to be the front and the inside panels of my card. So I'm going to make those about 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then we're going to go up and do a little bit of color changing because I'm doing something that's coffee themed, kind of looking for a color that's gonna, match that scene. Then I went to Color Sync and made both of those colors the same. I'm now going to bring in a second square, and I'm going to size that down 1/4 of an inch smaller. So that's going to be 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. Just because I like to layer my panels, and this makes my design a little bit more substantial. And again, going into Color Sync to make my colors congruent, and also gives me an opportunity to make sure that I have the right colors in the right places. So you'll see me going there quite a few times. So just wanted to welcome you guys to the channel. As you can see, I just hid one set. I'm grouping the second selection so that I can keep those together. Now we're going to go into the images portion, and I'm just typing in the word coffee. I am looking for some particular images that came out recently here in Design Space, and I completely love these coffee mugs with the faces. They were super cute, so I had to do something with them. So we're going to go in and grab a couple of images. You can see them lining up down at the bottom here, in addition to a sentiment that we want to use. So as we're doing that, scrolling through, there's so many things with coffee. I love coffee. How many of you guys love coffee? Comment down below. Let me know. So now we have all 3 of our images. We're going to bring those images in, and when they pop up, we will then start to size them to complete our scene on our card. So I'm deciding that I want to create more of a scene with this card. I have flipped the other coffee mug to make them kind of facing each other. So you saw me go up to the flip, and I flipped that one horizontally, and now we are changing our sizing to make them a little bit smaller. I'm trying to work with the bottom half of this card for the coffee mugs. Then I'm going to go back in and resize the top portion for my best friend sentiment. This is kind of the idea that I'm looking for in my mind right now. I'm thinking a countertop type of a scene. The best friend is hanging on the wall. You see me going back to our color sync. This is the point where I'm trying to consolidate colors. I'm one of those people that I don't like a whole lot of mattes, and if I have 2 colors that are really close or that I can get away with changing, I'm going to do that in order to decrease the number of colors that I'm having to use and the number of mattes that I'm having to create. So we've got our colors to pretty much where I'm wanting those to be, and you can see I'm just going in and checking. Now I am going to go ahead and bring my second matte, the part that's going to go on the inside of my card where my writing will go, and I'm going to bring that in. I'm looking for something, a sentiment that I can put on the inside. Please excuse my notifications. I have to figure out how to turn those off. I'm new to this, so please excuse me for any little glitches or hiccups that you see today. So we're going in and we're looking around to see if I can find any sentiments that I like or something that I can put on the inside of my card. Ultimately, I'm not going to find what I want to write on the inside, but I am going to find something pretty neat that I think would just go great with what I'm thinking about this card. So I just wanted to tell you guys that Craft Therapy is brand new here to YouTube, and I'm so excited that you guys have joined. So please make sure you leave me a message down below. Let me know that you popped in to say hi. Give me some feedback. Let me know what it is that you're loving, what it is that you feel like I could tweak a little bit. I'm all about positivity here. Is my voice too loud? Is it too low? Am I talking too fast? Am I talking too slow? Is there something that you would like to see on the channel? There will be an upcoming video that will describe more about the community that we're creating here. So now we're back to Design Space, and I have found an image, the heartbeat with the coffee. Like, I feel like that describes me so well because I love my coffee. about that much. So I then decided, let me see if it'll draw it. So then I can minimize trying to cut out that very delicate piece. Don't really like the way that's looking. Let's change that back. Now the idea comes, let's slice it out. That would be such a neat little perk to put on the card. So I slice it down at the bottom left. You'll see the slice button once you select 2 images, and then it slices it out of the paper. Now make sure you keep those little spaces inside of the coffee mug, otherwise you're not going to look much like a coffee mug. Now I am going to write inside my card. Now sometimes choosing a font is one of the most difficult parts for me, but I had a font in mind today. So now I'm going to write what I want to see on the inside of my card, which is, I love you like coffee. I need you like my heartbeat. I thought that was so cute for a best friend card. So now once I get that written, I will be going up to my advanced button, and I'm going to align that to the center because I want it kind of written centered. Then I'm going to start working on my letter spacing and my line spacing. The line is going to bring the lines between each of your written areas together, and then your letter spacing is going to do what we call crooning your letters, which is going to try to bring those closer together without them touching. Sometimes you're going to get letters that are going to get closer before others do. When that happens, sometimes you have to ungroup and manually move your letters, and we'll talk about that probably in a future video. Let me know if you guys are interested. This one does pretty well for me, so I don't have to do a whole lot of maneuvering and changing. Now I'm going to resize it to make sure that it fits above the heartbeat on the inside of my card. So as we're doing this, I'm just trying to get good placement for this to kind of see. And then once I get it where I want it, I'm going to have to make this just a tad bit smaller. I try to make my sentiments as big and as bright as I possibly can without going overboard. So once we've got that to where we want it, we're going to select both the writing and the background, and we're going to attach. That will ensure that our writing writes on our paper versus trying to write on the mat. If you've ever had that done before, raise your hand. So now I go back and I group them back together. Back over to my coffee mugs, just kind of looking at my placement again, trying to make sure everything is where I want it to be, how I like for it to look, kind of where I'm envisioning it. So I'm going to group all of this together just to make sure everything stays together. Oh, but then I remember I had the great idea that I wanted to put a window in. So I'm going to make this a kitchen counter with a wall and the sun shining bright into the room. How awesome is that? So I'm really getting into this scene thing. I think that I have to thank Kelly Lativola for that one. She's the YouTube queen of one layer cards, and I love watching it. So I find a pretty simple window that I'm going to bring in, and I am going to kind of size that as well in order to make it look as if it is above the kitchen counter and on the wall. Then once I get done, I am initially trying to send that backwards, but really it is better if I would just get my coffee mug and then send it to the front, because there's so many different layers that it's trying to go behind. So now I finally realized that. Sorry about that. So now we have that placed, and I'm thinking of dimension. Of course, cards always look so awesome when they have some level of dimension. So I choose my best friend, and I'm going to duplicate that 4 more times in order to make 5 best friends, selecting them all and centering them up again in order to give that piece dimension when I glue them all together. I think I'm going to do the exact same thing with my window. So I'm going to duplicate that additional 4 times as well, center all of those so that I can glue them all together, and it will give me a stacked look. I'm thinking of some acetate or some Nuvo I glaze, Nouveau glaze, or glossy accents. That's what I'm thinking of, glossy accents. Glossy accents will probably be great here to make my window look like real glass. So we've got all of our pieces together. I'm back on my color sink because, again, I don't want to have to use more colors, especially if it's like 2 shades of gray or really close brown or a really dark gray and a black. I usually consolidate those colors to make them one, especially if they're not in the same image. That gives me less paper and it makes it coincide. And oops, when I click make it, we have an error. If you see, that first image was print then cut. So these coffee cups that I've chosen, they come in both print then cut and they come in a cuttable image. You have to look at the bottom right, and if you see the printer, then you know that it's print then cut. I didn't pay attention. So I brought in the correct image. I'm going to flip that again and make it the correct size. And I'm going to bring that into the frame and I'm going to delete the coffee mug that I selected that was print then cut. So now that we've gotten that done, we are ready to click make it again. We're going to take a good look at our mats again, and I am going to consolidate these 2 mats because although they're very close, they will not cut each other. So I changed them and moved it to the same mat, and we're going to get ready to cut, and I'll be right back. Now we're back. We're back and I'm going to start gluing together these pieces. As you can see, I have all 5 of my pieces that go along with my best, my friends, and my window. We're going to start gluing those things together. I'm using art glitter glue from maymaymadeit.com. This is like the best glue ever. It dries clear and it gives you a little bit of time to wiggle some of those images around whenever you're starting. Now I've changed my art glitter glue into a small tube with a precision tip that kind of helps me when I'm utilizing some of these smaller images and trying to put them together. So I just wanted to let you guys know that this is a brand new channel here on YouTube. We're also going to have a Facebook community as well as an Instagram community, and I'm really hopeful that you guys will come and join us. There are going to be several different things that I'm going to initiate in our community, and I'm hoping that some of you guys will come along for the ride. I'm really glad that you guys came. I'm hoping that you like what you see and that you will subscribe and click your bell for notification, and also leave me a comment. I'd like to know some of the first individuals that came by the Kraft Therapy channel in order to interact with us, and I hope that you will continue to do so. So as you can see, it's a little bit of a tedious process here putting together all of those best and friends parts, but as you're doing that, it is for me very relaxing. I love paper piecing and I love doing crafting, so sharing it is just an added bonus. What is your favorite crafting thing to do? I have tried a lot of different things. I just always seem to come back to doing more of the paper piecing and card making. I love sharing cards. I love giving cards. I just love creating cards sometimes for no apparent reason whatsoever. So I'd like to know that too. Let me know, what is your favorite crafting to do, and when did you start crafting? People would think that I've been crafting forever, but I actually only started crafting about 2 years ago. Never had heard of a Cricut before in my life. Now you would think that I would stop breathing if someone took my Cricut away. So it just goes to show you how easy this system is to learn and how much of an advantage it is for individuals. It's definitely therapeutic for me, and I am sure that it's therapeutic for other people. So therapeutic to the point where it's become integrated into my actual work life. So as a profession, I am an actual therapist, a licensed professional counselor, and I focus on mental health disabilities that are outlined in the DSM-5 and work with individuals. And most of the time when we're talking about coping skills, I try to maneuver everyone and I do mean everyone, to crafting in some way, shape, or form, just because I have seen the benefits, the enormous benefits of crafting just in my personal life. You know, as a mom and as a wife and as a full-time worker, it was very hard for me to comprehend initially how I would even place their crafting, into my life. But I came to understand the same thing that I preach to many people is if you don't make time for yourself, then you won't be any good for everyone else. So I committed to an hour a day at the beginning. Now I think it's hard to drag me out of my craft room. And it's been such a benefit to me, my family. It helps in so many areas of life. So I am a major advocate of utilizing crafting as a coping skill. So as you can see, we're getting to the end of our gluing with all of our pieces. Whew. For those people who don't like paper piecing, I'm not sure you would want to add all that dimension, but for me, I love it. So at this point, we're going to start working on our cups. And we're going to start putting all those pieces together. Now, I am going to tell you guys something about me when I am doing layered images. Usually, I am going to have my photo pulled up on the screen. Sorry, we lost a little bit of footage there. And I am going to just dry layer all of my images bottom to top. And then I am going to glue them all top to bottom. That helps me out a lot. I get a dry run on it, and sometimes you will still make mistakes, as you will see here in just a few moments. One of my major mistakes in this image is that I moved my gray piece from the stack. And because I moved it from the stack, that meant that it was not there. Although I could see it, I couldn't see it. And so I continue to glue this on and completely forgot that that should have been the next layer. But it's okay. This is handmade. This is creative kindness. This is not stress yourself out because you missed a layer on this card. Improvise and fix it, and you will see in just a little bit how I improvised and I fixed it. I'm not going to stress. No. That's not one of the things that I'm willing to stress about. And that's one of the things that keeps you loving what you're doing. Don't stress. Be happy. Play like no one is watching. Have fun. And so we're going to continue to put the layers here. You're going to see another little uh-oh in a minute because I, for some reason, don't even know why, can't even tell you. But I decided that it would be a great idea to glue the last layer backwards. Now it's sitting on my table correctly. However, when I picked it up, it needed to go on backwards. Yeah, but we fixed that as well. It is okay. Life goes on. It is going to work. And at the end of the day, one of the things that I love about what I love is that it is just paper. I know sometimes that paper gets to be expensive, but it is. So here you see me gluing the wrong time. I'm telling you, that's mistake number 2. We're going to fix that though, and then we're going to get that put on there correctly. And then we're going to start working on our next area. Some of these little tiny pieces can sometimes be a little tedious, and they can make you think for a second, but that is the reason that is let's use our words, Kiona, craft therapist, extremely important to have your image pulled up on the screen, because usually Design Space is going to have your images layered for you. If you will look in your panel, in your layers panel, it's going to show you exactly the way that it goes, and it makes it so much simpler. So we are finishing up that last little bit of this coffee. Oh my gosh, I think that these are super cute. It makes me want to drink a cup of coffee right now just because I'm looking at them. Love the smiley faces. It just makes me think of them being so happy. I think it's because I like emojis. Like, do you guys like emojis and those bitmojis and things like that? I'm older but I love them. Like, it's just like this little happy part of my day. And you know, I thought about it and I was like, it's not kiddie. Like, I like it. I can do that, right? So we're on our last piece, and now we're going to fix this mistake that I've made. So I have gotten out my Copic multi-liner. We're going to outline where that gray area would have been. So that will let me know what that gray area should have been. Then I will take a gray Copic marker and I'm simply going to color in that layer. And crisis averted. I love it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Right. So now we're going to get our T-square ruler. This is my favorite part, is putting together this scene. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to have my countertop. And so I'm going to draw a very light line, and I'm going to put together some cotton paper by Nuvo. This paper is so gorgeous. It's got all the texture. It really does feel like cotton. I love all the hearts and the color. It looks like it should be a tablecloth. Getting me some Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo. I love saying that word. Masking paper. And I am going to create my wallpaper using some Distress Oxide inks. I have Wilted Violet and some Shaded Lilac because purple is one of my favorite colors, so I could not do without it. I have some ink blending brushes, those makeup brushes that everyone is using now, but I don't have the expensive ones. There are some places that I'm okay with cutting costs, and this is one of them. So I'm going to start out in the bottom right corner with my darkest color, and then I'm going to transition into my lighter color, because in this instance I am actually paying attention to my light source. So because I'm going to have the sun shining in from the top left corner, my darkest area would be my bottom right. Hence the reason that I started out with the Shaded Lilac closest to the window, the lighter color, and then blended into the darker color. Now I'm using some squeezed lemonade, and I'm going to use some Salty Ocean to help with the sun and the sky. Sorry, I lost my word there for a minute. Have you ever done that? Do you sometimes find yourself talking, and in the middle of talking, you completely forget what it is that you're trying to say, and usually it's a really simple word? I'm asking you guys all kinds of questions. I'm hoping that you fill the bottom of the comments section up to the point where I have great nighttime reading. Like, I want to hear what you guys have to say. So, of course, this looks a little splotchy right now. While it's still wet, it takes a minute for it to even out, but it usually comes out so beautiful. Like, when I tell you guys, I'm really, really loving the end result of this card. And it did take me a little while to get this video up and posted. Like, this has been an entire week of just learning, just a complete learning experience. So I posted the pictures prior thinking that it would be a sneak peek, but I'm sure that is lost in your timeline somewhere now. So I will be reposting those images along with the videos so that you can see the final images of the card and how awesome it turned out. And hopefully you guys can tag me if you decide to try to recreate this. We are going to have a Facebook community as well as Instagram, both Kraft Therapy with a K, because my name starts with a K and I love that letter. Yeah, that's the reason that I did that. So let's clean up our surface here, and we're going to start adhering our pieces, and now the magic is going to start coming together. We're going to put our window in first, kind of get that placed where we're wanting it to be. We are then going to start putting our coffee places in place, and if you notice, I have one closer to the bottom and one closer to the window, just to offer a little bit of variation as to where those images are and to make it look a little more dimensional on the page. Once we get all of that glued down, then we will get ready to put our front sentiment on, and then we can start working on all of our bells and whistles. So I promise, guys, this is my last question. What are your bells and whistles for your cards? For me, I can never stop. Like, I never think it is too much. So I am completely with the Nuvo drops and the glaze, and with Wink of Stella. Like, Wink of Stella, I probably could use a whole pen on one card. So of course we're coming in with some Nuvo drops, because those little pink dots that cut out for their cheeks, I thought it would be cute to give it some dimension. So I utilized the Nuvo drops instead. And now I am going to use some, again, I have lost my word, glossy accents. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that today. I am going to use some glossy accents with a precision tip. Again, I love those precision tips to gloss up my coffee and the eyes, and I will do the windows as well. And there is a pink, looks like maybe a cherry, on the inside of the coffee. I didn't really understand it, but I went with it because it was supposed to be there. And now for my favorite part, I'm going in with my Wink of Stella. I'm going to Wink of Stella everything. Best Friends is getting Wink of Stella. The window is getting Wink of Stella. The coffee mugs are getting Wink of Stella. I just love the shimmer. And not just Wink of Stella. Like, I can do tonic shimmer pens. I can do spectrum shimmer pens. I just like the shimmer. I just really, really like the shimmer. So guys, as we are finishing up this recording, I just want to thank you guys so much, like immensely, for hanging in there, coming by, stopping by, showing some support, watching this video, leaving me comments, and hopefully coming along for the ride. You guys will see additional videos coming very soon, especially one explaining kind of what this community is and what we are trying to create. So if you like, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and definitely leave me a comment. I really want to know how many of you guys out there were here with me today and what your feedback is. It is very much so valued. I thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the remainder of your day, and I hope that you guys craft kindness constantly. Okay, getting out of your hair now. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Have a wonderful time crafting.